We're at Gardeners World Live, and we're surrounded by so much inspiration in the form of wonderful gardens. Now, Carol, Gardeners World Live dates back to about 1992. I can't believe it's been going that long.
Yeah.
But gardens and also planting styles were quite different then, weren't they?
They absolutely were, and I think people's interest in gardening was, it's changed hugely. I sold plants early on, as a nursery person here, and people would see lovely flowers and want them just for that.
Yeah.
Nowadays, everybody asks questions about where they grow, where their wild relatives grow.
Yeah.
How can I grow it? Does it like sun? Does it like shade?
That right plant, right place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's also that kind of influence you can also see so strongly in the way that gardening styles have changed, and just in the show gardens and the beautiful borders here.
Yeah, and I think that bedding plants have started to take more of a back seat. That whole transformation. They've still got their place, but they've started to take more of a back seat, haven't they? People have moved more towards perennials, things that come back year after year.
Yeah, things that look after themselves, that are happy in each other's company, that look as though they were meant to be together.
Yeah.
And
so more naturalistic, do you think?
Definitely more naturalistic, more relaxed, more informal, and more successful.
Yeah.
Because of course, if you're giving those plants what they like, if you're putting them together in beautiful ways, then the aesthetics are there, but also everything's just going to get on and be happy.
And it's about not just about the flowers, is it? It's about the foliage and the way that combines together.
It is, and it's about seasonal interest too, isn't it?
Yeah.
About having a garden that is good for you and good for wildlife all the year round.
So not just about dressing the garden up for summer, but trying to make it look good all year round. So you mentioned wildlife, but wildlife has really become much more important with what we plant, hasn't it?
It has. I think we're all, us gardeners, we're much more conscious of the part our gardens play, not just in making us happy and somewhere nice to come out in, although that's hugely important. That whole kind of relax, lose yourself, all that element, good for your mental health, good for your physical health too. But it's also, we recognise the part our gardens have to play in the bigger picture. They are vital.
And of course, bringing wildlife in adds a different dimension, doesn't it? Brings a garden alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
bees are buzzing, butterflies are flapping.
That's it. Or fluttering, we usually say.
Fluttering.
Yes, fluttering.
And of course, the type of flower is really important. The shape and the form of the flower is important, isn't it?
Yes. You find with most flowering plants, especially if they're close to the species plant, the plant as it occurs in nature, something is going to pollinate it.
Yeah.
So, it's some insect to some insect. That flower's really important. But then you can generalise. All daisies.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest flowering plant family in the world. So it includes things like the echinacea, the Michaelmas daisies, daisies themselves, dahlias, all
single
those
dahlias.
Single dahlias.
Because I think that's the key thing as well, isn't it? It's important to have single flowers that have got proper floral parts, that have got the nectar and the pollen.
They've got nectar and pollen, and what's more, the insects can get in there. When you imagine a great big cactus dahlia or a huge double rose, not only is it very unlikely it'll have anything worth having in there, but you can't get at it either, can you, if you're a bee or a...
And I think what's so amazing is when these show gardens are put together, it doesn't take long before the insects find the plants that have been imported.
No.
And it comes alive, doesn't it, buzzing around?
We were looking today at in one of the beautiful borders, and there was a little card on the side with a flower on it. It's a dragonfly that had perched on top of it. And
Isn't that remarkable?
It was just beautiful. And then a little girl came along, Kate she's called, and she was looking at this tortoiseshell butterfly just feeding on the nectar. I can't remember what it was, scabious or something like that. Absolutely fascinated by it. And all those gardens are just alive.
But you see, that child now has got a sense of nature, a sense of plants, and that's important for the future, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it's all about. It's not about us now, it's about what's going to happen to the planet. And I think, gardening it won't change the world, but it can do a huge lot to improve it and to make people conscious.
And not just to make our lives better, but for wildlife as well.
Yeah, completely. And for the planet. I'm looking around here at these lovely trees that have been planted, and, if it weren't for trees, none of us would be here.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
absolutely essential. Celebrate gardening, celebrate plants, and celebrate being a gardener, really, isn't it?
Exactly. And celebrate wildlife, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's lovely for all of us.